Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Live number 114. I'm Mike Tedesco.
And my name is Roy Nemren. Do we have a show for you guys?
Wow. Yeah, we do. Man, oh man. Roy and I were just talking moments ago, right before the show went on the air, about. I really like. So we're going to be talking about WWE Backlash today, obviously. And I really had no real expectations for this show tonight whatsoever. And wow, was I just like totally blown away by this. For all those people that are like, oh, Vince is back, the shows are getting bad again. It's like this show was damn good and everything made sense on it too.
Yeah.
I just one banger after the next, after the next, after the next, and an incredible crowd. Wow.
Ev- Everything just everything that's usually part of the show, whether it's the announcers or the fans or the matches, everyone was into it, and that's what made it that much better.
There was a couple times I was just like watching people in the crowd
Yeah.
tonight. Like these people just loved everything about every aspect of this show. They're, it's like everybody's always like when they go over to England, they're like, "Oh, I hate those shows. It's like all fake reactions." It's like these people are starved for this product,
Hmm.
and they're getting a big show. They're getting a pay per view or a premium live event now, as they're called, the PLE. They're getting a PLE, and they're excited. And there was this like one guy I noticed during Brock Lesnar. As soon as Brock Lesnar's music hit, he was just so excited. He was just going like this. He's like just he was rubbing his hands together like he was going to be seeing something special. And I was like, man, I wish that every fan could be like that. Just enjoy the show. So many of these crowds are so smarmy and so annoying. I said in our Wrestleview chat tonight that WWE really should like take a full tour
Hmm.
like outside of the United States for like a month or so and just go to crowds for Raw and I know it'd be like a gigantic logistics nightmare for them to do that, and obviously that will probably never happen. But like it'd be great just to see like different crowds and hear different reactions and kind of motivate like the television audience,
Hmm.
who will eventually go to some of these shows to be like, hey, you know what? You know, let's just go enjoy the show like these people are.
Yeah. Well, not that they didn't have the budget before, but now certainly they absolutely have the budget. If they want to do like a mini tour, go 2, 3 weeks in Europe. I mean, half of Europe is essentially the size of the United States. Put Russia aside, right? So you could easily tour like Germany, Poland, Switzerland. Those surrounding countries. Do a Raw there, do a SmackDown there. Logistically speaking, yeah, it'd be difficult probably, but they have the budget for it. Do it, because like you said, the crowd was so into this, so into
Yeah,
it. And whenever they leave the United States, right? Whenever they come to Canada, whether it's in Montreal or Calgary or anywhere in Alberta or Toronto or even Ottawa, the crowd's loud. And tonight in Puerto Rico, it was fucking nuts. It was insane. It
it
was
it
insane.
wild. I mean, really, it was just so much fun to watch. Like they were into everything. There were certain moments where maybe it wasn't like a great match, so to say. So like let's say for example Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. Like that
Yeah.
match, they made no bones about it on TV. They were like, oh come on Zelina, like you really have a chance. They made no bones about what was going to happen. But this was like the Puerto Rico's favorite daughter here. She came out with the flag on her back, and they took a moment that could have been just like, all right, it's a thing that happened. She squashed her and we move on. It made it more than just like a squash match. Like they made the crowd really made a moment there, and it was just
Yeah.
incredible to watch. Like it was one of those things where it's like it transcends from just being a show to like I'm watching something real. Like the tears in
Mhm.
Zelina Vega's eyes. When Michael Cole brought up that she's dedicating this match to her father who died in the 9/11 terror attacks at the World Trade Center. Even though like some people are probably like, oh, why would she dedicate a match that we know she's going to lose? It's like it's not the result. Obviously,
No.
it's just the fact that this is a dream come true for her to go to her home country as the challenger for a major world title in professional wrestling. And the crowd made that event, made that moment for her. And it was so awesome. And they did that a bunch of times tonight. You know, I'm thinking, the Bad Bunny match. Oh my God.
Oh,
Holy
that,
crap.
there were so many moments tonight that if you take this pay-per-view, a premium live event, and you throw it anywhere else, it's still going to be a very good show because of what they
Oh
produce.
yeah. Oh
But
yes.
the fans, like there were instances in probably every match on the card where I'm just sitting there, like I'm just like gobsmacked, like what am I watching? We shit, or specifically I shit maybe a lot on the women's matches. We praised Charlotte and Rhea at WrestleMania. The opening match tonight, about halfway into the match, I'm just sitting there like, this is a freaking good match. And the fans were into it, and it was everything about the show tonight was just great. I know I'm repeating myself. It was great, and
Yeah.
so many moments, and we didn't even talk about Savio Vega coming back and
Oh,
Carlito, and it was a fun show.
you know what else I liked? I saw this really this great meme today of it's like like they've been doing these promos in the last week where they've been cutting them in Spanish.
Yeah,
And somebody put like a thing where it was just like I don't understand what the hell Rey Mysterio is saying in the ring. It was like a whole bunch of pictures of like white people. Just like we're so used to like WWE catering to the American audience where
yeah,
English is the language of this country. You don't like it, get the hell out of here. It's like we don't have a national language, by the way. I thought it was really cool that they did like a whole backstage segment where like I know Spanish from Duolingo and
yeah.
whatever rudimentary Spanish I took in high school, and I'm able to pick out some words. I know the gist of like what they're talking about, but to do like a whole segment in that, and then they don't have to like at the end like, okay, now let's translate what we said into English. I thought that was pretty cool. I thought
Yeah.
that was like, what, this is a global entertainment company. You don't, I felt like they were going out of their way to not insult the intelligence of many of their international and even American viewers, because there's so many that speak Spanish.
It was
um, I thought that was a really neat thing tonight, like and also last night on SmackDown as well.
pretty much the entire opening promo last night on SmackDown was in Spanish, like all of
Right.
them, all of them. And it was nice to see, it was refreshing, and even the fans or everyone in attendance, like the 1, 2, like uno, dos, when they were counting it, it was cool to have that in Spanish, and it was nice. It was a breath of fresh air. Everything worked, be it on SmackDown or even tonight. I loved the entrance, the setup, and I know they weren't gonna have a massive stage for the entrance because of the arena and everything, but it was nice to have it simple.
Oh
It
yeah.
reminded me a little bit of the Attitude Era to a certain degree, and obviously in the '80s as well, and stuff like that. But
I
it
you know
was the crowd.
Yeah, I love the beautiful stage setups and stuff like that for like
Yeah,
WrestleMania and things like that. Like you go there and it's just like, wow, it's a spectacle. It's it's really something special. But like you're right, like those Attitude Era things,
the-
those entrances were. I mean, like some of them were like really iconic. Like I think of like Survivor Series 1998, the big skull, or something like
yeah.
that.
Or even
Or like
Backlash with the little
yeah, the little swinging like
swinging,
hooks
swinging
and
stuff.
stuff like
Yeah,
that. But like like I like some of those like simpler stages, like 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 the old Royal Rumbles or the King of the Ring 1998, where it was just like the big circle that they came out of, and they were
this.
just and it's just surrounded by people. Pack as many people in there as you can, and
Yeah,
number one, you make they make more money, and number two,
it was,
it's just cool. Like it just contributes to the atmosphere. Like
yeah.
sometimes like with these arenas, they cut off a quarter of the arena for people to sit, and it's like, man, this was just so cool tonight. Like when they
Mhm.
when they that shot of Bad Bunny in the like in the entrance tunnel, and then the drone comes out, and they had so many cool drone shots tonight, by the way.
Yeah,
But like you could see the people hanging over. They were hanging over the video wall, trying to look
yeah.
down to see him, and it was and you could see the people out
It,
there. It was amazing. I just
it
thought the whole entire presentation of everything tonight, you know, like people might complain, oh, low production value, no big stage. It's like,
No,
that's the best. That's
this
how
was,
that's how every one of them should be, except for like
yeah,
WrestleMania and some stadium shows.
yeah. There was that specific shot of Bad Bunny reminded me, especially when he took the weapons out, for whatever reason, it reminded me of Triple H versus, I think it was Cactus Jack, Madison Square Garden. I think it was Royal Rumble 2000, was it? I can't quite
Oh
remember.
yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
That street
Yeah,
fight.
that was a great setup. They just had the taxi cab over the
That's it.
entrance. That's it.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. You're just standing there in the crowd, like you said, people kind of like on top of the LED screens, and everyone's like, damn, like, the crowd's into it. And it's Bad Bunny. It's freaking Bad Bunny. This guy's gonna get a reaction anywhere in the world. So throw him in his home country, yeah, forget about it. It's massive, massive.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
it was just so, everything about this was just fantastic. You know, from the way they set up the stage, the crowd itself, you know, the match order, like everything,
it made sense.
finishes, everything was right.
Yeah, everything made sense. I was curious to see what match they were going to start with. As soon as they mentioned double main event, then for whatever reason I thought, okay, are they going to start with the Usos or the Bloodline against Kevin Owens and Zayn? Apparently they didn't, and I guess it made sense.
Yeah, it's funny actually. When they talked about the double main event,
Yeah,
the first, obviously, Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest was the first one that they said, and then during the pre-show they had said that the 6-man tag was the other double main event. But then when the show started, it became Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar was the double main event. It was just kind of weird, but honestly, it's like we had 3 main events, you know, because that 6-man tag certainly was main event level stuff. But when they kicked off with Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Well, let's see what they got, and you know what, like it's hard to pick out anything favorite from this because I just love the whole entire thing. Let's just go down from the match order. Let's just run it down. And we have to talk about Bianca Belair versus Io Sky first because it is the first match on the card, but also because I think, for my money, Roy, this was probably the best technical wrestling match of the night.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. And keyword
Other
in there,
than
like
the
you said,
6-man tag, I guess.
We're gonna talk. Well, we're gonna talk about the 6-man tag later on. I'll tell you why I didn't enjoy it maybe as much as a lot of people. But we started off the crowd booing Bianca Belair, cheering Io Sky, and I'm someone that doesn't watch much of NXT, right? But I was blown away from what I saw by Io Sky. Like, you have this kind of talent on your roster, or a women's division that absolutely needs talent, and you're doing nothing with her, and the crowd's into her. And credit to Bianca Belair as well. Her facial expressions were on point tonight. She acknowledged the fact that she was getting booed and Io Sky was getting cheered. It wasn't just one of those like, yeah, I'm getting cheered. No, you're not. Like, she got booed, and I like that match. The selling of the arm, that was a rough landing when she was gorilla pressing Io Sky, and Io fell.
That was okay. I loved that spot so much. Because there was a ton of great selling on the show across the board. Like really, like everybody put their working boots on tonight. Really, like, I mean, Bad Bunny was a phenomenal seller, probably because he was getting the crap kicked out of him a couple times there. But Bianca Belair, like, really showed something here that's been missing. I've been saying for a while, sometimes on Post Raw with Victoria or like in my comments on Twitter, that I actually don't think, for somebody who's held the title for over a year now, and she is going to be the longest reigning women's champion of the modern era. That's their thing that they're going for. They want more people holding the titles for longer, make the title reigns mean something, which I'm all for. I'm all for that. I was like struggling to think of, like, are there any like defining moments to her title run? So she's been for 13 months now, and other than like the matches against Becky Lynch, I'm like really, really struggling to think of anything that's been really markedly great about her title reign. Maybe the match against Bayley in Saudi Arabia, but that was kind of spotty and blah. other than that, like the Asuka match, I thought was a little disappointing at WrestleMania. It was good, but not
memorable.
Great. But but again, it was following Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, where you're comparing one of the greatest women's matches in the company's history to that. It's
right.
Tonight was Bianca Belair's night, finally. And Io Sky, like you were saying, like you have this talent on the roster, like you're totally wasting it with like her being in Damage Control doing nothing. But like the moments that they gave her initially, I don't know if she had like the heebie-jeebies or whatever, but like she started off really, really rough. A lot of blown spots. Like even last night on SmackDown, I was like, oh God, because Bianca Belair had Bayley up in the KOD, and you could tell she turned around and was waiting for something because she made the face like oh, and it didn't happen. I don't know if Io Sky slipped or something like that, but she had to throw, or like Bayley had to like roll off her shoulders, and then she got hit with the missile dropkick. I was like, oh God, Io Sky is just like got the main roster heebie-jeebies here. She can't make it happen. She's got the yips.
Yeah.
And it had been like that for almost the entire time. I'm like, wow, like this is not the Io Sky we saw in NXT. But then tonight, she, 24 hours removed from what I thought was a botched spot and kind of a bad look, she had the best match of her WWE career so far, and gave Bianca Belair one of the best matches of her WWE career so far. I mean, obviously the Sasha Banks match in the main event of WrestleMania will always be number one, but wow, like Bianca Belair desperately needed this. Moving to SmackDown, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with the titles, and I'm kind of shuddering to think what they're going to do with them. But like Bianca Belair really needed a good match. Io Sky needed this match big time. Otherwise, it's like sink or swim for like Damage Control. Like, what the hell are we doing here? It's phenomenal. Everything about this was phenomenal, and of course, like the selling of the arm. And she was pressing her over her head, and then her left arm gives out, and she's holding her up with one arm.
Impressive.
That was such a great spot. That was so creative. That was so smart. I can't think of anything bad about this match. And the crowd, of course, was phenomenal.
Yeah, and at one point, everyone in the chat, and Mike, guys, let me know if you thought the same. At one point, I almost thought, especially when Bayley and Dakota Kai came out, I'm like, is Io Sky actually going to win the title here? Like, are they actually going to?
I thought so too.
Do the flip? Are they going to switch this? And
I thought like, okay, that makes sense for like her to win the title. I guess if they're going to do that stupid swap thing or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I really thought she was going to win tonight. Like the Damage Control stuff was like, especially when Bayley was holding the braid. I was like, oh my God, like she's going to hit the moonsault. And then the referee caught her. I was like, oh my God, like. This is
a referee does something.
Yeah, I was like, wow, they made a referee look good tonight. Yeah. I didn't see that coming. Like I was convinced, wow, this is really going to happen. Title change at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I had no expectations really going into the show, and I had even less expectations for this match. For me, it was just like, oh, okay, we're gonna have this match because we have to have a women's title match or something. But I was wrong. I was wrong. Jerome, have a good one, buddy. Good night, Jerome.
Actually, we're 1 minute away from on East Coast time from Jerome's birthday.
Isn't it Jerome's birthday? I believe it's Jerome's birthday. Am I right? Are we right?
Is it today or is it tomorrow?
I think it's the Sunday, the 7th.
Sunday. Well, he can tell us if he's still here.
Jerome?
I think on Facebook.
Jerome?
Well, we'll see. No. We'll see. But yeah, wish Jerome a happy birthday. He's
checking now.
It's happy.
Yeah, May 7th. May 7th. There you go. Yeah, May 7th.
May 7th.
So, May 7th. So in just a couple of seconds then.
Well, I mean, Jerome lives in like he lives in a different time zone, so he's still got some time before his birthday. But here on the East Coast, we can celebrate it. So happy birthday, Jerome! Happy birthday, and thanks for joining us, sir.
And everyone else.
And everybody else, of course, everybody else. We got Andrew Elder here. We got Grash. We had Jerome. We have Daniel Schell. We got Ed Hamilton here with us. We have Nafis Sadat. We got Det Morales. We've had a whole bunch of people popping in tonight to say hello. We thank you. We thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Hope
everyone enjoyed Backlash as much as we did.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope I'm not like totally off my assessment here. We're usually we know what the hell we're talking about. Yeah. They did a backstage segment with like we were talking about before, where they did the entire thing in Spanish. Rey Mysterio walks in, greets Bad Bunny, who's checking out his new Nike shoes, or I forget what shoes they were.
I think those Adidas.
They look pretty good. Like Savio Vega. When I think of Savio Vega, I think about the Caribbean strap match or like Steve Austin. I think about a guy who is like in Los Boricuas, like who just was there during the Attitude Era, and then it's like, oh, he disappeared. Savio Vega's gone. He must be doing nothing. But he's like a legitimate superstar in Puerto Rico. When he walked into that room, the pop was like, what? I was like, initially I thought it was Conan.
Okay. No, I honestly, I didn't think they were going to do the surprises that they did. I didn't at all, but that pop was, I said, I'm like, oh, pop of the night. At that point it was, but then it wasn't up until the Bad Bunny match. But geez, the crowd made that segment.
Yeah, like I remember, like I was like, what? Like Savio Vega, he gets a pop like that? But I'm like, yeah, I guess that makes
Puerto Rico
makes sense. Wow, what the heck happened there? So they also talked about the new rosters going into effect on Monday, and a World Heavyweight Championship tournament starting up. Initially, this kind of feels like a little bit of Vince booking here, where initially like they said only Raw superstars. That's why Roman Reigns can't go for it. But now it's Raw and SmackDown superstars that can go for it.
Unless the loophole, because see, I thought about that, and I was under the assumption as well of it's only going to be Raw superstars. But then I started thinking like, well, what if everyone could participate, but whoever wins it ends up having to move to Raw?
Yes, yeah, perhaps.
But that obviously could be Vince booking as well. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little unclear there.
Yeah.
So that was it's interesting. I am looking forward to the tournament. I love tournaments, and they will crown a new champion in Saudi Arabia on May 27th at Night of Champions, which takes place during the day here. So
right, yes.
should be pretty interesting. This was a really interesting match. The next one here with Omos versus Seth freaking Rollins. This was like the only build that I can remember for this was just done on that one Raw from Chicago, which you recapped for me. And after that, it was like there was like almost nothing with them at all. I almost forgot the match was even happening because there was like no build for it. And then when initially, even when it happened, I was like, this is so random and so strange. Like, why are they doing Omos versus Seth freaking Rollins? But they put together a hell of a video package that made it seem like, wow, like this is like they did a ton of stuff and then a very anticipated match. It really wasn't, but Seth Rollins in a video package said, "I'm going to give you the match of your life," and he did. He gave Omos the match and was like, "This is definitely the best. It's not a great match, but the best match that Omos has ever had for sure, by far." Yeah. I would say so.
Yeah, he's very. I mean, we've spoken about Omos in the past. Just very choppy in the ring. Obviously, for a big guy, not as agile. Rollins pulled it off, obviously. I like the spot where Rollins went for the stomp and Omos kind of, didn't sell it. Like he blocked it with his neck or shoulders. That was cool. And the ending as well. But the big picture now is where do they go with Omos? What do they like? He lost to Lesnar. He's losing to Seth now. Is he just a big guy? That's it. He loses. But this is as good of a match as good of an Omos match as you're gonna get.
100%. Yeah, my cousin even said the same thing. He's a huge wrestling fan, and he texted, "I like Omos, but another pay-per-view loss here pretty much buries him." A lot of people had that same assessment. I always think that like having a good match in a loss doesn't really hurt somebody, but like with Omos, it's like, he's so big that there's really not much you can do with him. It's like, if you want to like, freshen him up for, I guess whoever the world heavyweight champion is. I think Omos is still on Raw, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's a free agent. He's a free, so he can go anywhere.
Oh, yay! Great.
That's right. Yeah, so it's like, if you want to like freshen him up and like keep him strong for like a Roman Reigns like spectacle match or something like that. Don't beat him on the pay-per-view with like Rollins then, or don't put him in the match with Rollins at all. Just have him do squash matches and then just go for the big one. Two losses is definitely interesting. I mean, one's Brock Lesnar, the other one's Seth Rollins, but still, what do you do with him after this?
There's not much. There's not. You put him in a tag team. They tried that already with AJ a while back, essentially, and it didn't.
And I hated everything about that partnership.
I think everyone hated it. I don't think you're the only one. Daniel asks, can he go to NXT? Do you do that? Do you ship him off to NXT and have him and MVP kind of run riot there? Option. I mean, because there's nothing for him on the major. What are you gonna do? You're just gonna have him squash people every single week for a month, and then he's gonna have a new match and he's gonna lose.
Or like, what do? Do you like put him in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament after losing?
That's it. How are they gonna determine that? Who's gonna be in the tournament? Especially now that SmackDown wrestlers are gonna be involved. It's gonna be a weird one. I don't know where they go with Omos.
Yeah, but when it's like Saudi Arabia, you just assume that they're just going to give you like traditionally, historically, they've given some pretty horrible matches. I actually, it's funny. I was just I was thinking about the Super Showdown with I just want to read. I was like curious to see like what I thought about because every time they go back to Saudi Arabia, I start thinking about all the other shows that they've done there, and I was like, sometimes I go back and read my old recaps, like what did I think? What was my initial thought of like The Fiend versus Goldberg or something like that?
God.
So I went back and read some of that, and I was like looking through this whole entire card, and I was like, what a miserable goddamn card they put out for that.
Yeah.
Lately,
rough days.
Lately, as they've been going back more, and the last one under Triple H was actually quite good, so I'm expecting another good one here.
Yeah. No, I think they'll.
But traditionally they would probably give you like Omos in the finals.
But that's it. Yeah. Usually when they go there, you always get that, I guess, spectacle match, or just a match that makes no sense, but it's two big names, like you said, Goldberg or The Fiend, or when The Fiend won the title. You know what I mean? So it was
right.
A lot of those, like Braun Strowman winning the biggest Royal Rumble of all time, and
right, or Braun Strowman versus Tyson Fury, who they brought in because they could afford it. Like they're getting paid a ton of money.
Yeah, so you always get something like that. This time, I don't know. Maybe it feels a little bit different. It depends how they approach this pay-per-view. Are they approaching it as, we're just going to center this around the World Heavyweight title and that's that, getting our paychecks and we're out? Or are they actually going to use it to help push more storylines? Because traditionally speaking, when they go there, it's just big matches, no storylines, and that's about it.
Right, like they give you a lot of like Triple H versus John Cena, or
Shawn Michaels, Undertaker.
Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, or Goldberg versus Undertaker. There's a lot of a lot of matches that maybe were dream matches at one point, but they waited way too long, to get them going there. And a lot of guys went over there and really embarrassed themselves. Like Undertaker's the end of his career was a total embarrassment because of those Saudi shows. Yeah. Shawn Michaels, one comeback after retiring, having the perfect retirement, was sullied by a really terrible match.
Money talks, Mike.
Oh, I know it does.
Especially when it's seven figures.
Oh yeah, and it's like I'll go have this match, and then people will forget about it. I didn't forget it.
Yeah.
But most people probably have forgotten that a very bald Shawn Michaels wrestled in the main event of Crown Jewel 2018 after they murdered a American journalist and dissolved his body in acid. It's like, I remember though.
Anyways.
Too much? Okay, anyway.
Anyways, because we're going to go down that rabbit hole. So.
Oh, I know. But this Seth freaking Rollins versus Omos was actually way better than I think it had any right to be. There were some really cool spots in this. And of course, like they did make Omos look very strong in this. It's not like he lost like a chump where he just like got kicked down and stomp and it's over. He ate 2 stomps and kicked out of it after countering out of a stomp first. And, he really took it to him. He looked very good, throughout. And then, of course, he goes up to the top rope and hits a top rope flying stomp. Like, it's not like he got buried here.
No.
They can definitely, like, justify putting him in a couple more big spots. But this is what Omos is pretty much going to do. He's an attraction, and he's not like a long-term solution. It's just like, okay, let's put him against Roman Reigns because he's a big guy and he looks threatening, but Roman's always going to beat him. It's like, or if they make Cody Rhodes the World Heavyweight Champion, which by the way does not finish the story, they can have Rhodes beat him. After a grueling match where he gets thrown around a lot. There's a lot of options. He's not totally done yet, but they didn't do him any favors either. Let's just put it that way.
No. They're gonna have to use him strategically.
Yeah, but this goes to towards Seth Rollins' overall legacy of really probably in the top 3 of the modern era of professional wrestlers. And it's like, like somebody who does it on like a gigantic stage too, like that's really like the criteria that I hold here. It's like, Kenny Omega, Seth Rollins, it's hard to say Will Ospreay because I'd like to see him do something like, outside of Japan, like on a bigger stage. So can he look, really great? Like those guys that like the best wrestlers, you can put them in the ring with anybody and they'll have a great match. Seth Rollins is in the ring with essentially a piece of wood and he had a great match with it.
I think the thing with Seth is he has a chip on his shoulder. There was an interview he did with Ariel Helwani several months back, around right before they brought the Fiend back, so towards the fall of last year, and he said he was telling Ariel Helwani, he told him, I've held the title before, but I've never felt like it was my belt. I never felt like I was the one running the show or being the headline. And I started thinking, I'm like, you know what? He's right. Because even when he was champ, the show wasn't really revolving around him, right? And now we get it with Roman, and he's like, I want to get to that level that Roman's at. So I think the fact that, yes, he is getting better in the ring, and perfect examples tonight, I think it's just because he has that chip on his shoulder and he wants to get better.
Right. That's actually a really interesting thing that, he said that because, it's like the consensus is that he's one of the tops, and he really truly is, but that's still not good enough for him. Yeah. I got, Daniel Shell mentions Bryan Danielson. Like that would be like top 3 for me. It's like Seth Rollins, Danielson, and Kenny Omega.
Even AJ Styles. I know AJ's older, but even
AJ Styles, especially when they were using him, really well from like 2016 to like 2019, maybe 2020, he was outrageously great.
When they did that, they were doing house shows in South America. I think he was in Chile one night, and then he flew over to the States. I think, and he beat was it Ginger for the title? I think on SmackDown or something. I can't remember. But yeah, that time period, he was all over the place in a good way, and he was just
and he held the title, I think, for like a year, right?
For a while, yeah. Oh yeah, for a while.
He had a really, really great run with that title. Yeah. And I think it was Daniel Bryan that beat him for it.
Could be. I
think
I know they're both on SmackDown, so I should probably remember this. But
yeah. I think that was like the Daniel Bryan, like, Mr. Natural Fibers
that's
gimmick
it.
Or something like that.
Yeah, the weird title belt.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. I loved everything about that. But again, that's because these are great guys that no matter what you give them, they can do something with it.
Yeah.
Moving on to this triple threat match of Bobby Lashley, Bronson Reed, and Austin Theory. They actually made this pretty quick. I was surprised at how fast this match went. It was a little over 5 minutes. If I'm gonna look at the time right now, see.
It felt longer than that, to be honest, at least to me. And I don't mean it in a bad way.
No, 6 minutes and 50 seconds because it was just like it was all action. It was just like they started off right away. There was like some really good you know, there was a cool spot where Austin Theory went under the bottom rope, tripped Bobby Lashley, and then Bronson Reed came out of nowhere. You thought he was out of the ring and big splash. The Bronson Reed is so good. I don't think people realize how good he is, and I think tonight he probably opened a lot of eyes because Puerto Rico was kind of soft on him, but when he hit that second rope Vader bomb to the floor, it just like blew people away, and a moonsault too.
Yeah,
big guy like that doing a moonsault.
He's a mixture, and I'm not saying he's at that level because I think Vader and Bam Bam are the two of the best big guys ever. But there are some similarities. He's kind of a mixture of Vader and Bam Bam. Obviously, he has the Bam Bam attire, right? The flames a little bit.
Yeah.
He has that. But he's a very good big guy. Like, he's agile. He knows how to move in the ring. He can do the splashes. You know what I mean? He's someone that, I'd love to see him versus Gunther down the line.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that. But they got to book him properly. Like, the WWE, for as much as a lot of us hate on maybe some of the stuff that they do, the talent that they have right now is actually very, very good. Their problem is the booking.
Actually, the booking up until April has been phenomenal.
Has been very good. Yeah.
And like Bronson Reed, actually I thought they especially like with Bronson Reed, like he had that phenomenal showing in the Elimination Chamber, and then they kind of like backed off on him a little bit. And I was like, you know what, that's smart because it's WrestleMania season. He's gonna get lost in the shuffle. Like, let's just get the WrestleMania match out of the way. But at least you'll remember that he had a really good showing at Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like they're trying to ramp him up again post WrestleMania. So tonight was like really the first chance that they've had to really put him in a big spot. And I thought that he, for not even 7-minute match, really responded very, very well to that. Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, that they're going to be good, they're going to be solid in that. But like Bronson Reed was the big wild card of this. I know that he went to Japan like when they released him and really kind of refined his craft because I did not like this guy in NXT at all. I generally don't like big men that don't act like big men. And that's what he was doing in NXT. It's like, he's like this big boxy guy trying to be something that he's not. And it reminded me a lot of like what the Big Show was doing early in his career in WCW and WWF, where he was like doing missile drop kicks and stupid stuff. And it's like, you're a big guy. Like, what the hell are you doing? Then now he leaves, he comes back. He's this monster. I mean, like that debut squash match against Akira Tozawa is one of the most brutal squash matches I've ever seen. And yeah, he does like the one top rope splash. He did a moonsault tonight, but like, break him out every now and then. On NXT, he was doing that crap like every week. It's like, stop.
Yeah.
You need to like save your stuff.
Yeah. It loses its charm when you do it every week. It's, I think I said this on when we were talking about WrestleMania, but I'm giving it until Monday. I think Monday's when we're going to start getting the new feuds, the new matches, the new, all that stuff, especially because of the draft now. So yeah. I'm very interested in seeing what they end up doing with Bronson Reed and how they push him. Because I think they have something in him or with him. Now it's just a matter of, okay, if they could do something, for example, what they're doing with Gunther, just have him have good matches, demolish some guys, but do it in a good way, in a believable way. Again, him versus Gunther at SummerSlam, sign me up. But you gotta present him in a way that, he can't be taking the falls in these triple threat matches.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Austin Theory did get that good heel win. I mean, somebody had to lose, yeah. And Bobby Lashley, I think, is going to be primed for Roman Reigns right now. So you want to protect it.
Is he on SmackDown? Is Bobby on
Yes.
SmackDown?
Yeah, he's on SmackDown. Okay. So,
yeah,
I would imagine you protect him, and somebody, Austin Theory is not going to lose anytime soon. No. So, especially beating John Cena. So,
So that makes sense.
Reed had to take the loss, but at least he didn't look bad. It's like he took the big finish. He missed the moonsault. He got all this stuff in. He looked very good. I love that tsunami. We kind of talked about Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega already, but just again, like that crowd really, really made this something special. And there was a really nice hope spot at the end when she hit the DDT, and
is that her signature bump now, Rhea Ripley, like the spike DDT? I could have sworn she did it against Charlotte at WrestleMania.
She might have, and she definitely did it last week on SmackDown when I recapped for you. That's like her big like, oh, I got stunned kind of thing.
Dennis has Austin Theory, LA Knight. I love LA Knight, man. They hopefully they do something with him too.
I hope so. LA, like, I thought they dropped the ball on LA Knight big time with that Fiend crap. I guess he's still not gone yet. Like, there's still talk that he's just gonna come back at some point. Apparently he's very sick, and I don't know. Nobody knows what it is, but he's been ill. So, best wishes to Bray Wyatt. I hope, I'd rather, the thing end just because, not because of a health thing, but because, they decide, either he decides or they decide, barring health, So, but I thought like really Austin Theory kind of got ruined by that. But actually, they've done a nice job of kind of starting to build him up again. And people like that guy. They really like that guy.
LA Knight gets pops every single week on SmackDown. And even when he loses, he still gets pops. Andre the Giant, Battle Royal, he gets pops. So.
Yes. He's very good stuff. And this was just fun, like the 619, and the Meteora, she got that hope spot, and then immediately, Rhea Ripley kicks her in the head, and it's like, all right, enough. Riptide over.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. That's all it needed. That's all it needed. And a great reaction for her at the end of that. It was just, I don't know. I thought the crowd really, they took a squash match that by all rights should have just been like, okay, it happened next. And they made it a highlight of the night for me.
Yeah. It should have been, we spoke about it in the Wrestleview chat. It should have been Brock Lesnar versus John Cena from SummerSlam 2014.
Yeah. Yeah, 2014. And it kind of, it almost kind of was, except for even John Cena got a hope spot in that one with an STF on a Brock and an attitude adjustment. So, but for the most part, it really was. She really crushed her for the most part. Like she started off strong, and then she knocked something out of her off of her costume with that power bomb. Like something actually like pieces of her costume got knocked off when she took that power bomb, and I was like, that was stiff. That was a stiff power bomb. Now this next match, I thought the match the match placement was perfect on the show. I think the show should end with Cody Rhodes being on top, and that's the last thing you see, not just like something that's lost in the shuffle and Bad Bunny, going over. Bad Bunny's a music superstar. No matter where you put him, it's going to be a phenomenal reaction, great spot, great moments. I have no problem that Cody Rhodes was in the main event tonight. And in fact, he needed to be in the main event because that's what you want to leave with. But man, this was an incredible spectacle. Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. I was convinced, at WrestleMania, we even talked about it on the post show, that they're definitely going to do something at Backlash with Ray and Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest and Dominic. But and I think that was initially the plan too. And then they realized, like, you know what? This guy's working his ass off. He's, let's give him a Logan Paul treatment, put him in a singles match. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, Damian Priest did a phenomenal job in this of protecting this guy, of keeping him, on track, and they put together, I thought it was going to be like all smoke and mirrors. And when he brings the shopping cart down, you're like, okay, here comes our smoke and mirrors here. But they actually had a really good match. It more than just smoke and mirrors, and more than just the great cameos that happened throughout. They had a hell of a match that was hard hitting. really, really, smart spots. I thought, okay, Bad Bunny's putting Damian Priest to those tables on the concrete. No, he takes the freaking.
He took
Oh
the
my
bump.
God, that was ridiculous.
He took the bump. Credit to him for taking the bump, and credit to Damian Priest for protecting him, like as they were landing. But dude, what? And you said it, you tweeted it, and you said it in the chat. Bad Bunny doesn't need to do this.
No,
What artist, Logan Paul aside, because a YouTuber or whatever you want to call him, but what artist will do what Bad Bunny did tonight?
none of them.
Not
I,
many.
I, I can't think. I mean, really, this is like, Bad Bunny is like the equivalent of like, Eminem in his prime coming and
Yeah,
doing a
yeah,
match, or like,
absolutely,
or
absolutely.
like if you go back to like the 1970s, it'd be like Elton John versus Bruno
I knew
Sammartino.
you were gonna say Elton John. The second you said 1970s, I was gonna say Elton John.
Or like, but it's like in the 1980s, it'd be like
But yeah,
Michael Jackson versus Hulk Hogan getting a leg drop. It's like,
yeah.
like
Bad
but
Bunny's massive.
he's I'll never forget. It's kind of an embarrassing look back, but like in 2021 when he did the thing at the Royal Rumble, I was like, who's Bad Bunny?
Yeah.
I didn't know much about him. Like I'd never really heard of him before. Now it's like all I hear, and his music is really, really good. Um, I just like, and then he goes to like WrestleMania 37 and like just has a phenomenal, outrageous match. It's like, why are they like? Why is like every celebrity that they bring in now, just like Logan Paul, Bad Bunny, like why are they having phenomenal matches?
It's almost as if they want to be there. It's not just I'm here to
Bad
cash my
Bunny,
check and that's it.
I think he became a music superstar so he could be in WWE. I think this was always his dream.
Yeah, he's you have to. I mean, you have to love professional wrestling to do what he did, and and he shows up at Royal Rumbles, surprise. Like what the, like
Yeah, like
unannounced.
he's just kind of hanging out. It's like
Yeah.
he just wants to be part of the show so badly. Like he's main eventing the Met Gala this past
Hmm.
week, and then he's
Hmm.
going and taking broken arrows through
He's
tables on the concrete. It's outrageous. He
he.
could have phoned this match in. He could
Oh
have just
yeah.
done like a couple of kendo stick shots or like whatever, and did a whole bunch of run-ins to make to kind of protect him and take the.
He took the
Roy,
bump.
this match went um,
That's not.
25 minutes,
Yeah.
and I would say
It,
20 of them was just action with Priest and Bad Bunny, and really good storytelling, really good selling.
yeah. It was, and what I liked about it as well, right? Because when you think of Bad Bunny, Damian Priest, okay, you think to yourself, okay, Damian Priest gonna kill this guy, right?
Yeah,
Forget about it. And I like that to a certain degree. That's what they did. Damian Priest just shoving him in the face, shoving him down, slapping him, pushing him. Uh, when he easily could have gotten the 3 count, 1, 2, and then he pulled Bad Bunny up. So he showed like, yeah, I could kill this guy if I want to. So I like the fact that they did that because they weren't really insulting our intelligence with, okay, does Bad Bunny really have a chance? But then the way the whole story played out with the weapons, with the Bad Bunny nearly killing himself when he did that move off the top rope, it was almost like a backwards bulldog type of thing. He jumped off the top rope and he fell backwards. I forget what it's called. He
yeah.
almost landed on his head.
The sliced bread number 2. Yeah, I was like,
Slice bread
holy
number 2.
crap.
There you go.
Yeah, I saw that happen. I was like, oh my god, like what if he gets like so injured that like
It's
he can't like do his tour or something like that?
it was this. He got his ass kicked for a solid 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, and
Incredible.
man, that kendo stick shot that he gave Bad Bunny
Oh,
was ridiculous.
that was rough. That was rough. And he in the end he got his Lex Luger moment from SummerSlam. Except this one probably meant a little bit more. And I wonder what this does for Damian Priest because they're obviously pushing the Judgment Day a lot. They all have heat in a good way. They're all getting a reaction in a good way. Is Damian Priest a dark horse for the world title? Is he in the tournament? Does he deserve it? His stock has gone up, at least after tonight. And
I think after tonight he's a made man. Like he
that's
took
it.
Bad Bunny, a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
I'm sure the guy's agent is like sitting there just
Petrified, terrified.
like just having like the worst night of his entire life.
Yeah.
And he's probably like, if you hurt him, we're gonna sue your ass. Like he had a great match and he was protected. Damian Priest, yeah, I don't know if he'll be in the tournament. Yeah, like I think Daniel might be right. Like maybe he might go for like the Intercontinental title, like Priest versus Gunther or something like that. Because
Yeah.
I don't think you need to have like specified roles to have a match against Gunther. He's just that good.
Especially now
But
that
like
Gunther's
I think that this is going to be a really great year for Damian Priest and everybody in the Judgment Day.
And man, I was thinking about this before the match. Go back to Damian Priest about a year and a half ago.
Oh my God!
Actually, maybe a little bit more in the Performance Center or the Thunderdome. Sorry, the Thunderdome, where they had that weird zombie. Him and the Miz, was it?
Yep.
That was so bad, so bad. And I remember just thinking to myself at the time, like, wow, like I'm not Damian Priest's biggest fan. They're not doing him any favors, but this guy, they're not going to do anything with him. Fast forward a year and a half. Oh boy.
Okay, so I like at that time I had completely written Damian Priest off.
Yeah.
And like now it looks like I'm eating crow here, but I'm really not. The way that Vince was booking him was like atrocious. It was absolutely atrocious. They wanted him to be like some kind of like, happy-go-lucky John Cena, and it didn't work. I think he held the U.S. title for like a majority of the year, and he had a good match. He had some good match against Sheamus, I remember, and of course the WrestleMania match. But in the WrestleMania match, he was overshadowed by Bad Bunny. And then the next night on Raw, he gets pinned by Miz in his underwear. Like he was a dead duck, like the whole teaming up with Edge was a disaster. The start to Judgment Day was a disaster. So basically I wrote Damian Priest off until June 2022, but all bets are off. All assessments of any characters are out the window, as long as Paul Levesque has a stronger say in what happens. And yeah, I think, you look back to that stuff, and it's actually just kind of like a testament to how much Paul Levesque rehabbed this guy to get him to a spot where he could be in a match like this and get the reaction that he got and do what he did tonight. Because it was really this is superstar stuff.
It is, and he must be like, imagine you're Damian Priest, like the person, right? Not the wrestler, the character, but the person. You're thinking
Swerve show, that was horrible. I remember that.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was bad. That was bad. But imagine you're Damian Priest, the person, and you're thinking to yourself a year and a half ago, you're like, oh my gosh, like you just said, Mike, I just got pinned by the Miz in his underwear. Like this is not good. And now you're being trusted to guide, to wrestle, to protect, to tell a story with the biggest artist in the world. Like mentally, your confidence must be sky high right now. And I'm happy for the guy because he deserves it, man. He does.
Very, very well. It's this is a huge moment for him. Yeah. This was a humongous moment for him. And even though he lost, he loses the Bad Bunny. Like, you had the Carlito interference was huge. The Savio Vega stuff was great.
This doesn't hurt him. This loss does not hurt him.
Oh no, not at all, not at all. But like there were so many great moments in this match. Like it's we kind of figured Carlito was coming back. Once we saw Savio Vega. But still, that reaction that Carlito got was so great.
Everyone was just kind of waiting for it.
Honestly, like I was like waiting. I was surprised that Ray ran down by himself. That was another cool drone shot of like behind Ray of him running in. When Savio Vega motioned to the back, like I didn't think of the LWO. I'll tell you, I honestly thought that Carlos Colon was going to come out and bite Dominic's forehead and make him bleed or something like that. I
didn't go that far.
That's where my brain went, but that was kind of like wishful thinking, and I don't think Carlos Colon should be anywhere near like any wrestling event anymore. He's too old.
No.
But yeah, everything that was so great.
It was great. It was, the pop that Bad Bunny got when his music hit was as big of a pop that you're gonna hear or see in any wrestling company, AEW, WWE, New Japan. I don't care. This was massive.
It was a pop that this guy's like a legitimate superstar.
Yeah.
And they
And in his
knew
hometown.
every word of that song. It was like the national anthem.
It's okay. So think of Eminem singing "Real Slim Shady" back in '99 or 2000 in Detroit. That's how it was. That's
Elton
how it
John
was.
singing Benny and the Jets in England. Yeah, I
There
know.
you go. There you go. Next to Buckingham Palace. So
Right with the Queen in attendance.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
we're now
Absolutely.
king.
Now we have a king. You
Now
have a
king.
king.
I Yeah, unfortunately. Well, yes,
Congratulations.
fortunately. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, roughly like 89 years in the making or something.
Now the real question is, did you stay up and watch the coronation?
God, no. I woke up early today and I just opened Twitter later on, like in the morning. I'm like, oh, I saw videos of it. It was bad, man. It was bad. I get it. A lot of people love the royal family, and I understand it. And a lot of people don't. I certainly understand it. Changes nothing for
I
us.
think this guy's going to kill the mystique of the royal family. I mean, he already kind of has, but I, I don't see much good for Charles's reign.
It was,
I honestly thought that I think that he should be king for a little bit and then abdicate to William,
oh
because I think
gosh,
people
no.
like William a lot better. Even though there's a rumor that he
I,
likes to get pegged or something like that. I don't understand. I don't
I,
understand. That's the rumor. It's like, you type in, Prince William pegging,
I'm
and
not going to type that in. I'm going to have to take your word for it.
I'm just
Uh,
saying. I
yeah,
saw it trending one day, and I was like,
seriously.
"What is this?"
You got curious. It's all right. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, Mike.
some, pe-
Uh,
some people
yeah,
like
it's
it, I guess.
I I saw some tweets actually about what's her name, Camellia, and I was like, oh, if to all the side chicks, it just shows that you too could make it.
Yeah,
Uh, so it's how did we get to this?
I have no idea.
I'm trying to remember now.
I have no idea. But anyway,
Uh,
so Damien Priest is a king here.
yeah.
How about
Yes.
that?
There you go. There you
And so
go.
is Bad Bunny. He is like the king of Puerto Rico.
Oh yeah.
And again, like he doesn't have to do this. He like this is like such a get for WWE. Like you sent me this. You sent this video tonight of like this guy at like out in some place, and like he had a whole circle of girls around him, and they're all watching the Bad Bunny match. That's what Bad Bunny does. He puts eyes on the product. So like like so often when people say like, oh God, what's with the celebrities? Like, I'm sick and tired of like these celebrities
Mm.
coming in here and, making a mockery of this thing and, getting spots over everybody else. It's like, it's the people that they bring in. Yeah. And Logan Paul, whether you like him or not, and he's phenomenal, brings in new eyeballs to this product. Bad
Hmm.
Bunny brought a ton of new eyeballs onto this product tonight. Even Johnny Knoxville. People may have tuned into WrestleMania that are displaced Attitude Era fans are like, oh, Johnny Knoxville. I remember him from my childhood. Oh, he's on WrestleMania. I remember that from my childhood. Now I'll tune in.
Hmm.
There's always a real positive to having somebody from the outside who has some celebrity come into your show. I mean, like the first WrestleMania isn't as
No.
successful without all the cameo appearances. Mr. T, Liberace, Billy Martin, Muhammad Ali,
And imagine if
Cyndi
WrestleMania,
Lauper.
yeah, Cyndi Lauper. Imagine if WrestleMania 1 happens in this day and age with social media. Michael Cole said the amount of followers that Bad Bunny has. I think it's like 140 million. He said followers on social media. That's 140 freaking million people. You can tell me out of 140 million, you don't have 500,000 that are like, hey, you know what? I'll check out this Backlash thing. How do I watch it? Of course, and it's massive. Same thing with Logan Paul, and some people said it in the chat. These guys perform better than a lot of the wrestlers, a lot of the full-time wrestlers that have been doing this for years. It's not easy.
They
and they're
really
especially
do.
part-time.
Yeah. Grash makes a great comparison here. Bad Bunny is modern day '80s rock and wrestling.
Yeah,
100%.
perfect. Yeah,
100%.
I agree.
Let's move on to the 6-man tag with the Bloodline and Solo. So the Usos and Solo Sikoa versus Matt Riddle and the undisputed tag team champions Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I thought this was a great match. Now, Roy, you said you had something that you wanted to say about it.
Yeah, the match I thought was not a bad match. I thought it was good. I cannot watch another Uso Sami Zayn match or Uso Kevin Owens match. We've been beaten, like we've gotten so many of these 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s, 3-on-3 matches for the past 6 months. I can't watch them anymore. I'm sick of them. I'm over it. You could even tell they're already losing momentum. They're losing steam with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Like they're not getting as big of a reaction. Now it's mostly focused on what's actually going on with the bloodline, which I'm very interested in seeing, right? The Solo Sikoa almost giving the Simone spike to Jay. But for me, this was the match. I know a lot of people, maybe the bathroom break match was maybe one of the women's matches. For me, this was it. For me, this was my bathroom break match. This was where I went, I got food, came back, I watched like 5-10 minutes of it, not even. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine. Let's just wait for the ending. Because at this point, I'm over this. This is weird because this was the hottest thing for several months. And I was at the Elimination Chamber at the Bell Center for Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns. But I cannot watch another one of these matches. Like, please. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I can't.
I think you're saying the things that need to be said right now. I thought it was just objectively looking at it, I thought it was a great match. I still like I'm still interested in the bloodline, because like they like this drama with the Usos and Solo Sikoa
That's
seems
cool.
is really interesting. Like and that was really the story of the match. And it's kind of just like we got to like blow off Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn right now. Although it's very strange, and this is something that kind of needs to be explained too. They're the undisputed tag team champions. Does that mean that they can be on both shows? But like, so why can't we have two the world champion on both shows? So are they going to have a new SmackDown? Are they going to have new titles for SmackDown or something like that? Like, what's the deal here? So maybe this is the last time that Owens and Zayn face the Bloodline because they're on Raw and the Bloodline remains on SmackDown. I thought the drama was like really good, but yeah, like there was definitely like a different atmosphere than there was even a month ago at WrestleMania for one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time. I thought, for those tag titles, that was just off the chains, phenomenal. Yeah. But after Roman Reigns beat Cody Rhodes, and we know that it's has to get to 1,000 days. It's gonna go longer, and they keep talking about like, oh, we're only in the third inning of of our game. It's like people are like, okay, I guess we better buckle up for a really long haul. And it's kind of taken some heat off of the Bloodline. It's not it's kind of just like a rehashing of stuff. You're right. The Paul Heyman promos are just like it's the same and the same and the same. Like I still don't. I still think it was the wrong move to not put the title on Cody.
Yeah.
I could accept it and say like, okay, they want to like stretch it out a little more and they have a different idea. But now that they have a new world heavyweight title, it's like, how are we ever going to get Cody there again?
They could have had Cody win the title or titles, introduce the new one, and have Roman chase that one or something. I don't know. Do something.
Or just have Cody win the titles and have him on both freaking shows. I still don't understand why we need a new world title. Yeah. It's kind of just like a consolation prize. Like Raw has enough talent to really, keep it afloat without Roman Reigns being on the show every week. But like I still don't think that the World Heavyweight title is necessary or needed.
No. No. And didn't we get two titles in the first place? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe my memory's way off. Wasn't there was it day one or something where Roman couldn't make it, so Lesnar won the title.
Yeah,
And then it was Lesnar Roman at WrestleMania, right? And
that's right. That's right.
So
So
they
the titles that Roman Reigns has is the WWE Championship and the Universal
that's
Championship.
it. So they easily could have just had, man, they could have done anything where Cody beats him and they're like, oh, well, you beat me for one title, not two. Or I don't know, anything would have been better.
Or have a storyline where they tell like Roman Reigns like you have to give up one of these titles, and then it's like which one's you gonna give up, this and that. Like there's a couple things you could do with it, but just creating a new title, and now we have 3 world titles technically, on this roster. It just and Cody Rhodes can win it, and it's gonna be a consolation prize because it's not the win that completes the story. It's not the win that that means as much as beating Roman Reigns in that main event would have done. And since he's beaten him in that main event, the bloodline has felt very cold.
Flat, yeah.
Because it's almost like we're in extra innings, and we've already used our best pitchers, and now it's just like they're bringing in whoever like some lame ass to pitch.
Yeah.
It's like I'm tired of the Solo Sikoa matches of beating up Kevin Owens, and yeah, you're right. It's time to like I think they need to back off the bloodline stuff for a little bit, and let them get hot again. Sometimes absence makes the heart grow fonder, but we'll see what happens. Roman's gonna be on SmackDown this week, so we'll see what he has to say.
We'll see. Like you said, right? You said maybe they're hinting towards Bobby Lashley, so maybe Bobby comes out and maybe they'll give Bobby the chance after the fuck up for WrestleMania.
I don't think Bobby Lashley's beating him.
No, but I mean like a title match at least.
Yeah, I think Andrew's right. Welcome 1986. It's like, well, not a lot of great contenders. Kind of cold. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I think you're 100% spot on in your assessment of that. I still like the stuff with Solo Sikoa. So I'll stick out that storyline. There's a lot of like sub storylines that are pretty good about the bloodline thing, but right now I'm very cold on Roman Reigns as champion, and I think it's kind of I thought it was such a cop out, such a Vince thing to let's just create a new world title.
By doing that, I know, and the thing is, by doing that, we're gonna have 3 titles for a long time because they're not gonna unify them.
I know, and then of course you have the NXT Championship too. It's like how many world titles does this company need? Yeah. And then you had Paul Heyman do that promo on Monday where he's just like, Roman Reigns could have that title instead. A bunch of clowns are going to be fighting for it. It's it's not real.
He's right though,
and he is right. It's almost like that was like a shoot promo on like the legitimacy of like this world title. Like it is like a clown show that they're going to that they're going to like create this new world title because I guess they don't have any other ideas.
No, and even now I'm thinking if they do the title versus title or whatever at Survivor Series, do they actually put the title on Roman?
Well, luckily, like it seemed like this year they finally got off of that brand thing, like where it's like, oh, Raw versus SmackDown, like this past Survivor Series is quite good because they got rid of that freaking lame ass concept finally. But yeah, a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks. I wonder if we'll be chatting about them later this month. Who knows? Yeah. Our last match here, the main event, is Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Cody Rhodes, who lost in that main event of WrestleMania, and then the next night gets decimated by Brock Lesnar, gets a real measure of revenge against Lesnar. He looks great again. He doesn't look overmatched. I mean, he took a lot of heat in the middle of it, but like he hit him with the suicide dive to start. The steel steps to the head a couple times, bunch of chair shots. It wasn't like Cody Rhodes was like getting ragdolled this entire match and then won by slipping on a banana peel. It's like he looked good at certain points of this, and I think
F5s.
One F5.
Was there?
Yeah,
okay,
one.
Okay.
Yeah, one F5, and a bunch of suplexes, of course. But what really made this match was Brock Lesnar I mean, there's no half measure with Brock Lesnar. You know, and there was all those rumors about like how Lesnar was saying his goodbyes at WrestleMania, like he's getting ready to, sail off into the sunset. I've only got a couple more matches in me and I'm done. I'm going to face Omos and be done. It's like, are you kidding me? Like
No.
where do these things come from sometimes? And that, this was not the match of a guy who's going to be done anytime soon. He ran head first in that exposed turnbuckle. I think he did it on purpose to purposely bust himself open. And that really made this match just that much more. I get, like the stuff that AEW does with the blood is sometimes gratuitous and it's a little much. But used in the right spot, blood in professional wrestling, there's nothing like it to create more drama.
Mm-hmm.
And Brock Lesnar with that crimson mask, locking on the Kimura with that wild face, man, like that's drama. That is a visual. That's a memory right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's one that probably wasn't supposed to happen, right? I don't think they had planned that. Lesnar is not an idiot. He's not a rookie. I think he knew what he was doing when he ran the way he ran. I don't think it was accidental.
He's a tough bastard to do that.
Dude, fuck yeah. He's a big guy. Everyone knows how tough Brock Lesnar is.
It's like he took an aspirin before the match too to thin his blood out a little bit, so he made sure he got a ton of blood out of that. I think that was like total. Like he's done that before in matches, like a WrestleMania main event that he had against Roman Reigns. One of those, he got busted open, and I think he did that on purpose too. Like run just beating his head into the freaking ring posts. Like he's crazy.
Yeah. No. He knows what he's doing. He absolutely knows what he's doing. And he could get away with it, right? And when it first happened in my head, I'm like, what, did he get busted the hard way? And then when they showed the replay, it was clear as day he got busted the hard way. He did not cut himself.
Yeah,
he ran into that.
Yeah, and that just goes to show that like all those people that are like, oh, he's a part timer, he sucks, this and that. Like Brock Lesnar is a professional wrestler who knows how to get heat. This guy is a phenomenal professional wrestler.
People love to hate on Lesnar because they think, oh, he doesn't care.
Most of them don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah,
watch this match. Tell me that you know what you're talking about after watching that.
Yeah. Trust me, if Lesnar didn't care, you would not get him to be there tonight in Puerto Rico. I say jobbing, but losing to Cody clean. Trust me, that wouldn't happen. He gets a lot of stick because of the streak at WrestleMania against The Undertaker, but that's not on him.
It's a booking decision.
That's not on him. And people have to say, "Oh, part-time, he doesn't care." Look how much Lesnar has contributed.
That's how good he is to make you think that he doesn't care. That was all an intentional thing done by WWE, to make it seem like he doesn't care, so that when he faced Roman Reigns in New Orleans, he would get booed out of the building. Because they were so tired of Brock Lesnar constantly getting cheered in the match against Roman Reigns. So let's make it. They think he doesn't care. They think he's a part-timer. Let's send him to a whole bunch of house shows and have him work 15-second matches. Have all of his matches end quickly, and then we're going to spread it out there that he hates being here.
People are idiots.
They bought it. It's a work. The guy, yes, he shows up because he's making money, but if he's showing up, he's not going to look like an idiot, and it's got to be something good. And he's always been involved in something extremely worthwhile, something memorable, and it always makes sense. Always.
Yeah, he knows how to sell. He knows how to bump. He makes it look real because at the end of the day, if Brock Lesnar wants to kill someone in a ring, he can kill someone in a ring. It's not an option of will the other wrestler let him. No. It's like that skit of Joe Rogan. Have you seen Joe Rogan's skit about Lesnar?
Yeah.
If he wants to, he will. It's not an option. It's his decision. And it's that with Lesnar. He makes it look real because it could be real. He's very smart. He knows how to, he knows how to bump. He knows how to sell. Could he be stiff? Yeah, for sure. But the aura that he has when that music hits, the pop, the look, he circles the ring like a great white shark. Everything about him is so unique.
100%. You know, it's like, you know, I've said it before. It's like, you know, when he comes out, it's like, okay, everything else I saw was professional wrestling, and this is going to be a real fight now. Like this is everything else was like, you know, kind of like wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's fake, but this is real. This guy's real. That's the aura that he brings, and you know, you can't put a price on that. You know, and they keep going back to him because he's one of the few that kind of really brings that. Brock Lesnar's phenomenal, like really, and a lot of people were kind of upset about this finish to the match tonight. I loved this finish because of what this match was. You know, he's busted wide open. You know, Cody Rhodes he has to win this match. You know, he has to find some way. It looks like he's losing. Let's pop up the hips and pin his shoulders to the mat. All kind of slipping on the banana peel finish there, but he had to win by any means, and he pulled it out at the end. And that's what I like about Lesnar matches, because they have really unique special finishes to them sometimes. And it's like, that's how MMA matches end sometimes. You don't know when the knockout's going to come. It might happen. Or, you know, you don't know when the takedown, or you don't know when the submission is going to happen, but it just happens out of nowhere. And this happened out of nowhere, and I thought that was really smart. It contributed to this feeling like a real thing rather than just like a professional wrestling match that builds to a finish and you hit your finish and you're done.
Yeah, it reminded me to a certain degree Bret Austin Survivor Series, you know, Madison Square Garden, the $1 Million Dream, and that, and it worked. It worked. And when was the last time someone got a clean win against Brock Lesnar? No interference. I'm not talking Roman with the Usos at SummerSlam or anything like that, but just a clean win. What? I can't remember.
I got to look that up right now because I don't have an answer to that.
And you're not gonna pin Brock. Like, he wasn't gonna hit the Cody cutter 1, 2, 3 and get the win. It wasn't gonna happen. And you know, Cody's not gonna cheat. He's not the heel. He's not gonna use a chair or whatever it is to get the win. So he got the win. He outsmarted Lesnar, right? Whatever you want to call it. Rolled him up, got the win. 1, 2, 3. This is not over.
I guess just Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns would be the only person to get like a clean pin over him at WrestleMania, because I mean the SummerSlam match you can't really say that was clean because there's so many wrestlers involved and interference and this and that. Although I can't remember in the WrestleMania match was if there
for sure the Usos, for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. So like the last time that Brock Lesnar was pinned clean, maybe against Goldberg.
There you go.
That Survivor Series match.
Yeah, you got to go back. So you get a clean win against Lesnar. You know, Lesnar is going to be pissed.
Oh, no, Drew McIntyre.
Or sorry, okay, there you go. Drew.
Yeah,
Drew.
That's it. There you go.
So you could have Cody enter the championship tournament, the world title. I'm going to win it. And Lesnar completely screws him out of it. Completely. You have your rematch right there.
That could do it. That could really do it. Yeah, because I don't think this is the last time you see these guys go at it.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
And you know what? This was a really good opening match. You know, for like if they're going to have an extended feud, this was a really good starter for them.
And we were talking about it in the chat. The bell rang was what, 10:50? It was 10 minutes to 11.
Yeah,
11. It did. It passed 11. So, like you said, first opening match between these two, not a bad one.
No,
not a bad one.
And I would like to see more of it.
Yeah, and this keeps Cody, if they do the whole thing where Lesnar screws him out of the title or the tournament, that keeps Cody away from the World Heavyweight title. You're not making him look like a chump where he makes the finals and loses, or when he wins the title, you're like, yeah, but this is not the title he should have won. So
that's right. And don't forget, you know, like Michael Cole like really leaned into it. Like we still don't know why he attacked him. You know, so like if Cody Rhodes goes for this title and Brock Lesnar's like, you don't deserve to go for the title because I can't go for the title. What makes you think you're better than me? Or like whatever the storyline is, it would make sense for him to make sure Cody Rhodes doesn't make it to the tournament finals. I could absolutely see Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar being the crown, the Night of Champions, one of the Night of Champions matches. Unless the other thing that they could do too is, put Brock Lesnar as the SmackDown guy that faces Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, or Night of Champions as well.
Could be.
A lot of options, but like that's the thing. Like I like that there's a lot of options, and a lot of them make sense. So it kind of gives me hope that Triple H still has a heavy hand in this. And honestly, if I was Endeavor, like I think that the guy, who owns Endeavor, I forget, Ari Emanuel or something like that. I think he probably had a lot of phone calls with Vince.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine that this guy saw Vince show up looking like Gomez Adams to a CNBC interview and was like, "Oh my God, what are we getting to bed with?" And then Endeavor is at the Raw after WrestleMania where Vince is running this insanely disorganized Monday Night Raw, and they're like, "This is
that was rough."
Because like ever since then, like I imagine that Endeavor, because since they've come out with like morality clauses in their contracts and stuff like that, so they have a lot of outs to get Vince away.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really do believe that they saw his style at that Raw after WrestleMania and were like, we're gonna go with the other guy.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Yeah, we're not gonna work with him specifically in this role or something.
Right, or we don't want you in this role.
No,
we want you looking at the big picture. We don't want you in that role of in the weeds because you got in the weeds and it was bad.
Yeah, and we'll see. I don't know. I'm guessing they did their due diligence. They went through the numbers. Maybe the numbers were up in the past year since Vince was away. Clash at the Castle and all these.
The revenue that they brought in based on storylines that built and culminated, in a special way. You can't argue with those results.
No.
So I'm still holding out hope that Triple H is the main guy in control because tonight was a great show.
For as much as, and I hate this, and I'm not saying this to defend Vince or anything like that, but it's like the smallest thing that people don't like about a Raw or a SmackDown or a pay-per-view. They're like, oh, this has Vince written all over it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No, sometimes Triple H has some clunkers.
No, for sure, which is normal, like everyone, right? But if you compare this year's Backlash tonight to last year or the year before, you cannot tell me it's the same level of booking or the same level of matches. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Triple H's booking tonight, like this did not feel like a Vince show.
No.
Period.
Not at all.
Period. So, high hopes that this continues to be a Paul Levesque show.
I have very, very high hopes. I think we're doing okay so far. We're doing okay. Yeah. So, I give this show obviously a massive thumbs up, and like looking at Twitter, it's just.
Are people complaining for the sake of complaining?
No, not this time. We have 98% thumbs up for the show. 98%. Of course, there's always going to be the 2% that are idiots. But
what is there that you didn't like about this show?
I couldn't understand that backstage segment. They shouldn't be speaking Spanish. That's
I can see something. Probably why.
That's probably
too many flags that aren't an American flag.
I hate Bad Bunny. He's not a professional wrestler. That's it.
There you go.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Phenomenal show. So we're gonna wrap this thing up here, but we say number one, we say happy birthday to Jerome Weiland, and we thank you all for joining us here tonight. Roy is going to be covering Raw for me I got too much stuff going on Mondays lately. So Roy is busy, man. We're going to be making some switches here. I didn't get drafted to SmackDown. Roy didn't get drafted to Raw, but we're going to be we'll cover each other here.
There you
go. But Roy's got that extra hour. My apologies, my sir.
It's all good. Honestly, it's almost like the same roster I have: Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn,
right?
Same Gunther.
I think it's actually going to be very good these next couple of weeks, just with the new roster. I think they're going to really go out of their way to try to do some really good stuff. And you got Gunther on the show, so I think it's going to be fun.
You keep the Miz, so it's all good.
Well, you got the Miz for the next couple of weeks.
I got the Miz for the next couple of weeks. There you go. It's all good. It's all good. I can tolerate him.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good night.